Hey guys, welcome to the Conjurer's Table. It's me, Matthew, and my husband.
Hi, I am Dave from the Wizards Tower.
Now this is going to be interesting because this is our first time ever going live. It's kind of fun, kind of feels like we're just filming normally, except live.
Yep, when we film normally, no one can see us and no one watches us, so that's probably where we are about now. But hey, everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And we've got a show though.
Yep, we decided to do this collaboration today because a lot of people like our dynamics on YouTube, so we figured, why not do a collaboration together live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, we stumbled across something when we were talking tarot one night. I use this deck, if you've seen any of my videos over on my channel, the Wizards Tower. I use this deck called the Wizards Tarot. It's my go-to deck. So we were talking about our decks, and actually, Matt, tell them a little about your deck.
So the deck I have here that I'm going to be using today is the Skeleton Tarot that I received probably about 4 days ago. I saw it on Peekaboo Rose's channel when she did a review of this deck and decided to go buy it on Etsy from Cat Rocket Ship.
Yeah, so we were talking about tarot a few nights back, and we both had our decks and we were, looking at cards, and we noticed that some cards of the same card would give a slightly different intuitive vibe, if you would. Mm-hmm. And someone more, and some maybe more similar. And we thought we would start a show or a series kind of comparing and discussing cards
different
from each decks,
And yeah, it's kind of cool because I see a lot of people on YouTube that do like tarot views, tarot walkthroughs. They'll do readings, but I've never ever seen like a couple compare decks at the same time, like two completely different ones, especially ones that they use. So it's kind of cool that we created this little segment on pulling a card from two different decks and comparing it. So then, wait, what are we going to be doing with this, Dave?
we're gonna pick. So what we're gonna do, let's say we're gonna do the Hermit. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna pull the Hermit from your deck, and I'm gonna pull my Hermit, and we're gonna see what the card speaks to us intuitively.
Right.
And we'll discuss that, right?
And then, do you have your phone, Dave?
No, it's over there.
Okay. We're gonna have to quickly just grab something. Actually, why don't you go grab your phone very quickly? So then what we're gonna do is each pull the same card, we're gonna look at it, compare them, what we see intuitively within the two decks, and then obviously gonna compare what the actual textbook meaning is of the card. Yeah. So hold on 1 second. I'm gonna first pull you guys closer. Whee!
Yes, I'm trying to find my Hermit.
And there's this thing here. I don't know what that is. Chat viewing options. Hide all chat messages. Okay. I don't really know. So I think when people comment, they probably will. It'll pop up or something. Not really sure how the comment works on this side when we're filming live, because I know how the chats work when I'm. Ooh, and I'm very bright. Hold on. Let's fix that. Let's focus on Dave. Nope. Okay.
Oh, there's my
just
Hermit.
Change this.
Brighten it up a little bit. Woo!
There we go.
Ooh. Okay.
And Dave, do you have your phone?
I don't. Oh yeah, I do. It's right here.
Cool.
What are we gonna do with this?
Okay, so who wants to pull first? Do you want to pull a random card?
Oh, well, the Hermit. You gotta get your Hermit out.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna shuffle and pull.
No.
Okay.
All right, just follow my lead. Get your Hermit.
Okay.
So what am I doing with my phone?
Just look up what the definition of the hermit is, while I try and find.
Oh no! I got you one better than that. My phone. Oh, I got my handy book.
Oh, the hermit. Look at that. That was card number 5.
All right, so you want the textbook meaning.
Why do I still look so bright?
I don't know.
Maybe. Oh no, this is not like regular camera. Like when I try and edit, it like kind of makes me less bright.
Oh, just don't worry about it.
You know what? I'm just gonna turn down the light a bit more.
gonna any more of this. We're gonna have to have a disclaimer for
Right.
bright flashing lights.
Okay, now I look better. Now I don't
gonna
look so
take my
paled out
eyes off.
and like yellow.
Okay, so you have your hermit. Okay, all right. So first, let's hold these up to the camera. So this is the WizardsTower hermit. I'll hold yours up too.
And then this is the skeleton tarot.
Right. So
Yeah,
so take a look at that, and kind of just the first thought that comes to your mind when you see each card. That's kind of how I read intuitively. That unfiltered, very first initial thought, right? So we're gonna kind of put our cards down. We're gonna see what we see, and it's funny because I did a walkthrough of this deck yesterday, and this card's one of the ones that's like right in my mind.
Yeah.
Probably because of Simon, Hermit's Cave. Probably why I
Right.
zoned in on the Hermit. But
If Simon was here, he would love the fact that we just pulled this hermit. Well, I mean, it is the. Well, actually, it's not the first card, but.
that's the first card we're doing.
Mm.
So you want the literal meaning of Hermit. You can look at the book. It's just to withdraw within to yourself, isolate yourself.
Isolation.
Yeah, you need to kind of maybe pull away and think.
So what
Right
should I-
here, so I use this book. If you've seen any videos on my channel, it's kind of like almost a study guide for me on my becoming a wizard. It's the Grimoire for the Apprentice Wizard, and a lot of good stuff in there, and they have a great
Tarot.
section.
Section.
A tarot section. It just simplifies and summarizes things. So yes, when I look in here at the Hermit, it's needing to withdraw to solve a problem, right? So when I look at this card here, the WizardsTower Hermit, I see that, right? I see a guy up, a candle in the dark, maybe in the library after hours. Kind of get that thought of in Harry Potter when they snuck into the restricted section.
That's exactly what I think.
Very, if you look at that, very reminiscent of that. And, right, you see, the man's just in the library. It's dark. He's by himself. He's isolated in the dark. He's, got a book in his hand. So he's, kind of, solving, withdrawing to solve his problems. Right? Mm-hmm. So, and I get that from this card. I really see that. I see, a man doing that. What do you see now when you look at that card?
Oh, in your card?
Yeah, because we're gonna flip flop. Let me see this guy.
So
I can
in
interpret
your
him.
card, I see the same thing. He's isolated in a room by himself. There's no one else around. He holds a candlestick versus a lantern, which is in the traditional card. And it's kind of cool. But yeah, it pretty much to me it's like the traditional Hermit's card, except just in a different setting.
Yeah, that's the one thing with the WizardsTower deck. It's very unique into itself. So do you want to do your card first before me? Since I did mine first, yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you go and do that?
My card of what?
You gotta look at the card. Your
That's what I'm
intuition.
doing.
Read the
Oh.
card. Your card now.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly describe what's going on in my card. So with his, we saw that the hermit was isolated in a study area or a library with a candle and a book.
Mm-hmm.
Now in my card that we have here, we have...
Hold that up a little bit longer. They gotta study it.
Oh,
Give them some eyes. There we go. Hold it steady.
it's hard to like...
Yeah, I got it. All right, you guys
So-
got that? Let's take a good look. All right. Patience, young leader.
So we have obviously a skeleton because it is called the Skeleton Tarot. And we have a picture of a skeleton with a walking stick, has the cloak on like the traditional hermit, but this time instead of holding a lantern, it looks like he's holding a water balloon with a star in it, which is quite interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what the water balloon would symbolize versus an actual lantern. But yeah, I get the exact same thing because he's in complete darkness, no one else around him, he's isolated by himself, and the only thing guiding his path that he walks on in his journey is the star that's guiding every single step. So obviously to me, that shows that the that you have to that the star is there to illuminate a little bit of your path, but not all of it. So you're able to see a little bit ahead of you so you know where you're going. But it's not like showing the entire picture.
Now, with this card, I literally had to only look at it a split second. And that image, and it was, the whole image was in my mind. So I'm going to hold this card up again as I describe it. Yes, this hermit, he's he's isolated. But when I first saw this card, now you look at what Matt describes as the the water balloon, right? I kind of looked past that and almost detached that water balloon. So what I saw in this card was the hermit, a skeleton in his traditional cloak, maybe out in like a desert somewhere at night, somewhere way away from civilization. So he is withdrawn, but the difference I'm seeing here versus my card is that he's on a journey. He's following that star, like like they followed the North Star in Christianity. Christmas. He's on a journey. He's not just withdrawn. He's kind of like, you ever just get in the car and take a ride to think? I have. Sometimes, and it's odd because if you know me, you know I hate driving. But sometimes I would, when I had something really big on my mind, I would get in the car and I'd go on the highway. Usually later at night when there's much less traffic, and so it's easier to drive. But I would go on these long rides. Now we're from Rhode Island, and I did a drive one day where I went from, we're just south of Providence, just Rhode Island's in New England, the northeast corner of the United States. And I drove from Providence all the way to New Haven and back, New Haven, Connecticut, and back in one night, just for a think ride. Now that's what is that? That's like a 4-hour drive.
To Connecticut?
Just where New Haven was. So 3/4 of the way to where my parents'
New Haven
house
was like halfway between where my parents were.
Yeah. And your parents was like a 3-hour, so maybe an hour and a half. No, it's a little more than that each way. So that's like a 3-hour drive, and would go. So the point is, that's what he's doing. He's on a long journey. He's on his 3-hour drive to just think and solve his problem. So it's a little bit different than what I see in the other card.
There's another thing I noticed because I was looking at the original picture of the hermit in your textbook, and then I was looking at the pictures of these two cards that we have of the hermit. And did you notice that in the original hermit there is no textbook? There's a cane. But what I've noticed in these cards is, for example, in the skeleton tarot, he has the traditional cane, but then he has a textbook right here that at first I thought that was like his ribs, but then I looked closer and realized it was like a kind of skeletal looking book. And it's the same thing that is in Dave's card, is he's holding that textbook there.
Yeah, almost
instead of the cane. So I'm kind of curious what the textbook would represent.
Yeah, I didn't notice. When I first looked at that card, I was like, what was that? And like, it looked weird, but that's right, he's got a textbook.
Do you think the textbook could represent knowledge?
Yes, oh, no,
like holding in your knowledge? Or...
Absolutely, like any sort of arcane, intellectual way of solving a problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's a very similar card.
Actually,
but
no,
different.
that makes sense because
Yeah.
when you think about it and think about it in terms of the fool's journey and then what the star represents and being in solitude, it's like now my brain's kind of going all over the
Oh
place.
no.
So
We're going on
trying
a
to figure
journey.
out what I'm saying here. Give me a second. So it's like in order to oh, okay, so now I got it. So with the light that's shown by the candle and the star, it's illuminating your path towards your journey. But in order to move further and move forward, you need to possess knowledge of maybe your inner self.
Yeah.
That's what
Sure.
I'm thinking.
I mean, you think about it when you're on a journey like that. It could
A journey of
be
self-discovery.
exactly. So that's pretty cool.
So yeah, and then actually that ties in because when you think about the journey of self-discovery, sometimes you need to have that alone time and that space to understand the bigger picture. Ah, that
Yes.
makes so much sense. Oh,
Everybody-
yay me!
Yay! You had yourself a breakthrough. All right.
Breakthrough moment. Love it when that happens.
Okay, on to the next card.
Okay.
This is one I wanted to do because you pointed something out in this card to me that I didn't see at first.
So wait, are we selecting them or
Yep.
just randomly
No,
choosing?
no, you're gonna pick your Hanged Man card now.
Okay. Oh, so are we doing the majors or the minors?
Yeah, I'm sticking to the Major Arcana for now.
Oh lord.
Oh Lord.
Okay. So talk about your card while
Yeah, and
I
you
look
find
for
mine.
mine.
Okay. Well, before we do that, let's look in the book. Now I'm going to read right from the book of what the Hanged Man, at least in this book, is defined.
Oh, found it.
Needing self-sacrifice before change can occur. Right? That's the pretty literal meaning. And the pretty traditional picture is, the guy hanging, by his left leg, right leg crossed, and he's just hanging. Needing self-sacrifice before change can occur.
Needing self-sacrifice before change can occur.
So, I'm going to hold my card up.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because there's a couple of things about this card. So I can get up there and work with the light. This is my Hanged Man card from the Wizards Tarot deck. I'm going to angle it a bit so it doesn't glare. Right? It's a guy, he's kind of sitting, it's almost similar to the Hermit card where, there's a guy up sitting, in isolation, if you would. But here it's not total isolation. Right? He's got two birds with him that he's feeding. And so it's a little bit different. I mean, I don't see this as saying needing self-sacrifice in the sense of literal sacrifice before change can occur. It looks more to me like you need to give before change can occur.
Give before you take.
Yeah, it's what I get from this card, right? And I get this because he's feeding and giving to the two birds, and that could symbolize even family. If he's the father, and the birds can represent children, but it's more of not self-sacrifice necessarily, but giving. Or give to give away before change can occur.
Oh, did you explain to them about the upside down painting?
Oh, that's right.
This is one thing
So
when
this-
we were going through his card, we did notice at first that the Hanged Man was just upright compared to all the other Hanged Mans out there. And then
right.
I pointed out something very interesting.
Well, you look at this, right? Let's look back at now. In the traditional Hangman card, the guy's upside down. Well, in this, right, like Matt was saying, he's right side up. But
If you look closely
the
to
picture.
the portrait, right here, he's actually hanging upside down in the portrait.
it's basically a portrait of his what he's doing, but yeah, he's upside down.
Yeah, which
It's
is
funny.
something he
I
didn't catch
didn't
the first
even
time.
notice that. I noticed everything else, the runes in the glass.
I wonder what the runes represent. I haven't really had a lot of
So
time studying runes.
with this deck, because of the whole theme of the deck, I think the runes to me in here represent more of like arcane knowledge.
Oh, that makes
because if
sense.
you think about it, this whole deck is themed.
Yeah, and I know that runes is a form of divination, which is a way
Exactly.
to see arcane
Yeah, see,
knowledge.
yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. I'll just say that.
Well, the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you
Okay,
take
so
a
that
look
makes
at
sense.
that.
Oh,
Now-
let me show my card first.
Well, you gotta describe this one first. Then we're gonna do your card. What does that one make you
Oh,
see?
right. So, in this picture, actually, do you have the? Because I noticed. I don't know what these symbols mean. Because I've noticed in both of his decks, Dave's decks, that if you look closely, they have like these extra little kind of symbols in there. For example, in the Hermit, in his book, it looks like it's kind of like a M. And then if we go to the Hanged Man, oh, someone says something. Jezebel, hey! Odin got the runes from hanging upside down in a tree. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's something I never knew.
Ah.
So then here in the Hanged Man of the Wizards Tarot, we have this symbol and then that symbol. So I'm not really sure what those ones mean,
Now, which
but
ones you
obviously if
talking
I
about?
knew what they were.
Oh, you're talking about this symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this deck. Yes, a lot of symbols just kind of hidden away. But it's very interesting.
But yeah, that's the one thing that I liked about Dave's deck was when I first saw this, it was different from most decks that I've seen with the Hanged Man in that it took a more artistic approach of the Hanged Man by putting him in a painting.
Yeah. So, but what does it give you a message? What's your initial thought? Like,
So my initial thought is when I see this intuitively, I'm sorry.
dead
I'm
silence.
just so tired.
Oh man.
I have had like 2 hours of sleep, so my brain is like shut off. That is what I'm literally thinking when I see the Hanged Man. When I think Hanged Man, I literally think like, now this is the interesting thing. Oh. No. Yes, Jezebel. So it's interesting because when you think of the Death card and the Hanged Man, I think of them as complete opposites to each other. So the Death card, I don't see that as literal death. I see that as actually the Hanged Man definition of needing, well, of change.
Well, they
change,
are
rebirth.
the same. Yeah, well, not that they're the same, but they have a similar undertone of change,
Yeah.
right?
But then with the Hanged Man, before I even started learning tarot, that's the first thing I thought of the Hanged Man was actual death because, you know,
Oh, yeah.
death, I just
That's
died.
right, right?
That's the it.
You know, I thought the
That's
same
it.
thing.
The end. Goodbye.
Man, the very first time I saw a Hangman card, I thought the same thing. So I went first. So now you look.
Oh, yeah.
Now you interpret your card.
Now, when we go to the Skeleton Tarot, we see the literal Hanged Man. Well, the hanged skeleton, I guess. Which is funny because it's a skeleton and he's dead, so you can't really be hanged if you're dead. But, yeah, he's just, you know, chilling, hanging there by an invisible rope on a tree with some weird glowy thingy around his head as if he's, like, kind of happy that he's being hung upside down. But I guess when you're dead, when you're just hanging there and chilling, it's like, ooh, that's nice. I have time to relax. Oh my gosh! That's the first thing that pops into my head when I think about this intuitively. Is like, Hanged Man. I think, oh, it's a time of rest where I can just kind of chill, relax, think about life. Think about the things in my life that I need to do. I need to take time to slow down and watch the world around me. At least that's what I think intuitively when I see the photo of the Hanged Man here.
Wow, that was interesting. I like that. No, I see something different.
Oh, also the little kind of thing around his head. Also, when I see that intuitively, I think like he's getting a headache because, like, at first I was like, all the blood's rushing to his head because he's upside down, but he's a skeleton. So then I realized they don't really have any blood
I was waiting.
left.
I was waiting for you to say that he needed a haircut.
Oh yeah, he does need a haircut.
Oh, yeah,
Child.
that mop is a mess. That mop
So
is
it's
a
this
mess.
thingy
Look
right
at-
there.
I'm going to turn him right side up for a second because, yeah. So my husband's a hairdresser, so that's I had to bring that up. But that mop is hurt. That thing's thirsty. Okay.
As dry as Gandhi's sandal.
All right. So when I see this card, I see when I see the, the bad hairdo or whatever the thing around his head, I see almost like you see in cartoons, like to indicate motion, right? So I see someone needing or trying to escape. He's hanging upside down. Maybe he got snared in a one of those booby traps in the woods or something like that, and he's struggling to get down from that position. So that's what I'm seeing in this card. Yeah, that could be construed as sacrifice, right? If you go to the literal meaning where it says needing self-sacrifice before change can occur. I mean, I guess as you condense that down, I don't know, but that's what I see. I see like the struggle to escape in that trapped position.
Cool.
Right?
Sorry, I want to choose the next card.
Ah,
here.
choose the next card. Choose wisely,
Actually,
young grasshopper.
Where is it? There's like a very specific
Okay,
card.
which one are you choosing so I can find mine?
Oh, look for the tower.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because that's what something I pointed out
Found
to
it.
you.
Here's the tower.
All right. So why don't you describe to them your tower card while I try to find it.
So, I'm just going to quickly read the textbook definition of the tower, which is experiencing a major upheaval in your life. So, obviously, that's a very destructive kind of card there.
It's upheaval, right?
Now, my card is... Oh, that's not the card. That's the Fool. The tower depicted here. As you see, the bolt of lightning, the little skeletons falling from the tower to their...
to their demise.
to their not demise because they're already dead. They can't die again. So they're just falling. Lots of clouds. What are those things in it? Oh, that's fire. There's flames in the building caused by the thunder going.
So what does that convey to you?
So obviously I see chaos when I read this card. I see destruction. I see something about the building. I'm trying to. Sorry, it's so late. Well, it's actually not that late.
I see destruction. The
Well,
building's
but
being
like
destroyed.
the
It's on
building
fire.
that you thought was fortified is
Yeah.
collapsing. So it's
Yeah.
like that space that you thought was all protected is just come crashing down.
Yeah.
Pretty much is what I see when I read this card.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah, and I see the same thing, because when we get onto my card, when we were this is what inspired this whole idea of doing this a series like this is this card.
An unstable situation.
Yeah, I see the same thing he sees. This tower is on fire. People are the little skeleton guys there. They're jumping.
Guys.
They're like I mean they're just jumping out. They don't even
They're like, save yourself!
The inside of this tower is so bad that they just leap to their doom, even though they're already dead. So that's what I see in that card. Yes. But now, let's hold up the tower from the Wizards Tarot deck. Now, I'm going to tell you what I see with this card while you look at it.
That's very interesting.
I see the chaos. The storm is, here too. Right? There's the lightning striking around the tower. And
I see something
the
very
water is
different in this
crashing.
card.
Oh, yes, you do. The tower's
This tower
intact.
falling down is what I see. Shattering reveal. Oh my god, they go away so quickly!
The tower's intact. Even if you look closely, there's a figure in the window.
That's interesting.
the guy, he's like, it's like when there's a thunderstorm in your house and you're just looking out the window, like, you're safe because you're in your house, but there's a storm outside. So this card tells me you're going to, yeah, there's chaos before you, but you're going to make it through. You're going to weather the storm.
Weather the storm. That's
in
exactly
this
what I was
card.
thinking.
Yes.
Psychic minds.
So that's the thing with this card where it differs. The striking difference that I saw between those two cards.
And this card is actually very different from other decks because when you look at the traditional picture of the tower in the textbook, it's crumbling down.
Yeah.
All towers you see seem to be crumbling down.
Yeah.
But this is the first card that I've actually come across where the tower is still standing. The lightning isn't hitting the building. It's actually going around it. It's like
the lightning house. Yes. Like lighthouse leading ships.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what I see in this card is obviously being able to weather the storm that, yes, trouble is approaching, but you will get through it.
Yes.
You still have that strength that you need and that stability.
Yeah.
So it's like, actually, it's weird. This is more of a positive card for me.
Yeah. Love it. All right. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Pick one.
Let's do the Fool card.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Oh, which deck, Jezebel?
Well, both of them. So when we refer to my cards, this is a deck called the Wizards Tarot. I don't have the box, so I don't recall who makes it. Yes, the Wizards Tarot, exactly.
Is this the new one that I got you?
No, this is the deck I've had. So this is my go-to deck. So I have 3 decks of these. I like them so much. They're out of print.
Yeah,
And they actually are really hard to get.
Yeah, the one okay, this is a funny story. So I bought one for myself that was, I think it was $150 when I bought it. Shh, you don't know that, Dave. You don't know the price. Cover your ears. Too late. But yeah, it was $150 when I bought it, and I found it on Amazon. I think there was like a few other decks that I found on Amazon, but this is actually an OOP deck. And yeah, I ended up giving it to Dave because I was like, I have other decks now that I really love. I could use it every once in a while to practice with because this Wizards Tarot Wizards Tarot is actually a very, very good deck to read intuitively, is how I feel about that.
Yes.
Because, like, so even when you go into the minor cards, you still have a lot going on in the deck. So, for example, I'm just going to grab a random card here. For example, here we have the 4 of Wands. So, see how there's, like, it's not literally just, like, 4 sticks and that's it. You actually have people interacting within the scene. I know. I hate it when, like, you see a deck that you really, really want and then it's, like, out of print. That's how I felt today when I was trying to look for the, what was it? The Shadow and Light Tarot deck, I think was the name of it. It was in some, like, trading tarot group that I was on Facebook, and I was, like, trying to find this one deck because this woman had it, and then I messaged her. I was like, oh, do you still have that? I want this deck. And she's like, oh, no, I just gave it away to someone. I'm just like, ugh. So then I went on Google. I tried to search it. Nothing came up. It was saying it was sold out. I went to eBay, sold out. Amazon, sold out. Etsy, didn't exist. And I was like, ugh, joy. A deck that I will probably never get because no one seems to have it. But yeah, it's, like, annoying when you find a deck you really want and it's out of print and it's like, no one has it.
Yes.
But, oh, are you still looking for the Fool?
Yes.
Okay.
So you start with
your
your Fool.
While he is looking for his Fool, I will go ahead with my Fool. So the textbook Fool definition is over on this page. Is starting out on a new venture. So as we all know, because it's the very first card that everyone learns, is the Fool is about new journeys, new beginnings, setting out on your journey. Um, and yeah, it's basically a card of new beginnings. But this is what the Skeleton Tarot looks like. So of course it's a happy little skeleton, happy to be out in the sunlight, taking a little walk with his very living dog. And yeah, he has what looks like a, oh, what's that thing? Oh, a garlic on a stick, but it's actually the little sack thing that's in the traditional card. And at like the traditional card of the Fool, he is carrying a rose. And then of course there's the mountains in the back. But in this one, he's not actually walking off a cliff. He's just walking on a regular path.
So what is that saying to you?
So what that says to me is this is definitely a very positive card, because a lot of the time when you think of the Fool and it's depicted walking off a cliff, you think that he's very oblivious to his surroundings. He's very carefree. He doesn't really care that he's about to walk off a cliff to his impending doom.
Starting out on a new adventure.
Yeah, and he's always like taking that first initial step, even though like it leads to his doom because he's about to walk off a cliff. But for the fact that there's no cliff in this one, it just shows that it's about journey is what I see right away. A positive journey, and he's holding the rose, which represents, or the flower rather, to me that represents life. And then of course the sack contains the 4 elements that he needs in order to move forward onto his journey. And then, but also in the background there's the mountains, which later on I actually found out that the mountains actually represent the constant...
All right, okay, I'm freaking out.
What?
I can't find my Fool.
What?
That's because I don't have a Fool.
Oh.
Yes. So this is something I find
wait, hold
cool.
Hold on. Because I was just like on my groove there,
Oh,
and you
you're on a thought.
interrupted,
I'm
breaking
sorry.
my groove. So the mountains symbolize the issues that are at hand, that are always present, always there, the challenges that you
Obstacles to
face
get
in
over.
life. Yep, the obstacles that are there, but at the moment, you just need to live in the moment, the now. That's what I get when I see this card.
Interesting.
And now what do you see, Dave?
Yeah, I literally see the starting out on a new journey. I see the skeleton, the little skeleton guy, but I see his pet. He's got his pet with him, and he's got his little sack on a stick, so he's going on a trip. Yeah, I see he's starting out a brand new journey. Yeah, I literally see that, yeah. All right, so...
So quick.
I was freaking out there for a minute because I was just playing. So this is the card called the Initiate.
Oh.
Right?
Thank you, Jezebel.
Thank you so much. So this is the Initiate. It's called the Initiate card. It's in place of the Fool card. It's been switched out.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, I see the same thing. You have a girl. She's got a bunny, not a little dog, and she's starting out on a journey. Right? She's in the woods. She's up in the woods, and she's surrounded by fruit. So I guess she doesn't need to worry about what to eat. But she's starting out on a new journey, just like the little skeleton guy. But it's two things I found fascinating. Is that it wasn't a Fool card because there is no Fool card, but instead it was the Initiate card. And I guess that goes along with the whole Wizards theme, right? You think Hogwarts or a new wizard as an initiate or to be initiated, right? But yeah, so instead of the Fool, we have an Initiate in the Wizards Tarot, right? Interesting.
So...
Yeah, so what do you see in that?
What I see when those peaches or the apples?
I don't know, it could be either.
I don't know, there's some kind of fruit in it, but I can't really tell you what it is. First thing I see is obviously when I think of initiate to me is a student. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and when you think of students, they're learning. They're
Yeah.
in their beginning phases of building that knowledge to bigger things in life. So I forgot where I was even going with that. So yeah,
Yeah,
beginnings. So it's like
it's
you're
the
starting
beginning.
out as a student, you're learning, and then
Right, when you say the term fool's journey, well, what's journey?
oh, journey,
You
right?
you
Fool's
you learn.
journey.
You're learning in that journey. You're learning. Yeah.
Um, he, the she,
Oh, jeez.
she is wearing white, which represents to me purity,
Yeah.
innocence. Um, oh, which kind of goes back to the traditional card of
Yeah. Yeah. Let's show them again.
being
Yep.
innocent,
We're talking about.
being not oblivious, but like carefree.
Yeah.
So it's like it goes back to that card of innocence, the new beginnings. And then I noticed the crescent moon that's there.
Yeah.
Doesn't the crescent moon kind of symbolize new beginnings as well? Or is that
Yeah, because it's right before.
or is that the end?
It could be the end.
Oh.
It depends on where the crescent is.
Well,
Right?
then that means this card is the beginning and the end.
But it
Well,
could-
no,
but it
that
could be
makes
journey,
sense.
yeah.
The beginning and the end. Oh my god, moment. Because when you also think about the Fool, the
Brains.
Fool brains represents a cycle.
And just
It's
starting a new
the
journey.
Fool card is a 0 card. It's not the first card, it's the 0 because it represents the beginning and the end. Hence, the crescent moon being the end, but then the card itself being the beginning.
Okay.
It sounded better in my brain.
Okay. You got to find one more card.
Okay.
I
Damn,
believe in
we're
your.
already at 41 minutes.
Ah.
And I was like, in the beginning, I was kind of freaking out because I was like, ugh, what if we can't even think of anything? And then, like, this only films for, like, 1 minute and then that's it. But, like, now I can see because earlier I was on Tiger Abyss's channel and I was watching his live and I was like, how the hell can he film for, like, 2.5 hours
Oh,
straight
yeah.
of live? I'm just like, I don't
He's
think
amazing.
I could think of anything that long. But
He is an
no, I
amazing
can see
individual.
how easily you can film something for like 2.5 hours, especially in live. Well, at least when it's not yourself, you have other people.
Oh yeah.
But
absolutely. Your devil
we're
card.
choosing. Oh, the devil. Okay.
Yes, find your devil.
Did you find your devil?
Oh, I've got my devil.
Devil.
Card.
Not these.
Oh, you got.
Oh, found it.
All right,
I love
fantastic.
how all my like cards are like towards the top of the deck.
Oh wow! Look at this card.
That's
Okay, let's show it. Let's show
Oh,
it.
I was like,
This is-
Dave, that's not the card. Flip it around. You're looking at the wrong
Oh.
side.
See, I'm not familiar with this deck. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
So, I love how all of the devil cards that I've seen. So this is the right side of it. I was just kidding. I like how all of the devil cards that I've seen, aside from one, is a literal of the devil. Right? You see the horns, the wings, is the devil. Right? Even though this is the skeleton devil. But he's, on his throne, and he's got 2 minions on leashes. So that's a sign of a very controlling. In this card, I see a very controlling, the devil. So maybe you might not want to trust them. Or if you're on the other team, maybe you do trust him. But, that conveyance of a very controlling, dangerous foe ahead. That's what it could mean. What do you see in there?
Now, when I see the devil as, of course, I see control and domination because he has those 2 skeletal beings leashed up, so he has that control, that dominance over them. Obviously, when you think of the devil, at first you think deception, trickster, So I definitely see this as a very negative card.
Yes. Now, if you look at the literal meaning,
His hand up kind of looks like he's about to slap him too.
yeah. If you look at the literal meaning, and this is the picture of the original card, experiencing the effect of pride and arrogance. Right? Which I don't
you see that in
I
that
don't see
card?
that. I don't see that in this card.
Yeah,
Not
I
at
don't
all.
either. That's weird.
Let's put this back up, right? You do see someone that's
Well,
probably is prideful and arrogant, but I see him more as sinister.
Well, I mean, when you think of it, because when I saw his hand up like that, and I said it looked like he was about to slap him, so it kind of does make sense when it's like
And-
you're experiencing the
yeah.
effects of pride and arrogance, and he's just like, no, whack, and smacks you across the
But
face.
the thing is, you're looking at the devil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? If you're at that stage, it's too late for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But I
not.
mean-
You are pride and arrogance because you're the devil.
And it makes sense.
Now, I want you to take a look at the Wizard's Tarot card
No.
and see what you see there.
So this is what the Wizard's Tarot. Oh, and it's actually called the Dark Lord.
Yes, there's no devil
Praise
card.
Satan.
It's the
Sorry,
Dark Lord.
I had to say that because we just saw Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes.
And they called him the Dark Lord.
the Dark Lord.
Praise Satan.
Of course, I'm thinking Voldemort when I'm thinking Dark Lord.
But yeah.
That's okay.
So this is what it looks like. It's a regular guy with two toads, flames, and of course the upside down pentacle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I see this, automatically I think deception, because the devil can be anyone, anything. So it's like not the literal picture of the devil with horns, but it's kind of that scary thought that the devil can be humanized. Humanized, is that a word? Made human.
Yeah, humanizes.
And then the control of the two toads, because he's like, I got you wrapped up on a leash, you're not going anywhere, I control you. The hellfire flames.
Oh, we have a comment.
Did he turn someone into toads?
Ah,
Oh.
we're gonna get to. Oh my God! So
That's interesting.
all right. So we got to segue into what
Does
I
that
see.
change how you perceive
No,
them?
but that's let me. I'm gonna go through my perception of it. So let's put this back. So I see, right? If you go back to the literal meaning, right? Experiencing the effects of pride and arrogance. I see exactly that in this card. I see someone who may have been kind and good at once now is turning into evil or becoming the Dark Lord. And yes, absolutely, right? If you think Dark Lord, even in, especially in Harry Potter, was not a very good person or wizard. And very much those could have been, because if you look at his card, you know, they're humanoid. You know, you would think they're humans, you know, minions or slaves. But yeah, in this card, they're toads. And when you think of wizards and, you know, witches and
They're
toads,
familiar.
Well, they
one of the
turn-
familiars is a toad.
but they turn people into toads. Some of the stories. So absolutely,
That's interesting.
absolutely. So I see more of experiencing the effects of pride and arrogance in this card from the Wizard's Tarot. Isn't that wild?
That's awesome.
Yeah. How long have we been going for?
48 minutes.
minutes.
Well, I think we should probably wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah. So we're gonna definitely do this more often.
Yeah.
Here on Matt's channel. Also, if you're interested in this deck, this is the Wizard's Tarot. If you hop over to my channel, the Wizard's Tarot, Matt will try to link it down
The Wizard's
below.
Tower.
No, the Wizard's Tower. I'm sorry. This is the Wizard's Tarot. I do a walkthrough of this
Of
deck,
that deck.
on my channel. And I show you every single card. It really is a fascinating deck, especially since there's a lot of the major arcana that are switched out to different, you know, like the Dark Lord instead of the Devil and stuff like that. So definitely hop over to my channel.
Yep, and I'll
see
make
this
sure to
walkthrough.
leave a link below for you guys so you can check out Dave's channel. And then also on my channel, I have a review of the Skeleton Tarot.
Yeah. Oh,
that I
yeah.
did.
So you can see each card from both decks.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to do more of these anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
And feel free to, if you do get these decks or you have your own deck and you see other things that you've noticed, you can always comment down below what you think with your comparisons of your own decks as well.
Awesome.
Perfect. This was so interesting and informative. No problem. Thank you so much, Jezebel, for being here.
Thank you.
It was so good. It's so helpful because it's good when at least someone's watching. So you're not like, well, this is awkward. We're talking to ourselves. So this definitely helped, and it made it so much easier for us.
Yeah. So like and subscribe to Matt's channel. Like and subscribe to both of our channels. That would make me happy. But no, like and subscribe and click the bell. So the next time we go live to do this next one, you'll get a notification.
Yep. Oh, that's good. We should start saying that because I always forget that. Yep. When I first started creating a channel, I actually completely forgot about the bell and didn't even realize what it was until I clicked it one day and it said, oh, do you want to be notified? I was like, oh, yes. I'm clicking that bell for everyone now.
Click.
So, yeah. But, yeah, this is the first time we're doing this. So now that we know what we're doing, we'll probably figure out if we want to do this once a week or twice a week. Yeah, we'll probably do this like a few times a week.
Yeah, I'd say a couple times a week.
Around the same time and date.
Absolutely. Oh, I can't wait. I look forward to it too. And thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye, guys. Okay, now how do I end this? Do I just click the X?
Click the X.
This is weird.